bring $500,000 to Hustler Casino Live to battle in the highest stakes poker has to offer. I play in some of the biggest pots of my life, including a $120,000 bluff and a $300,000 pot with kings. This is an opportunity of a lifetime to play these stakes, so let's dive right into the hands. Hey guys, before we get into the hands, just want to ask you guys to hit that like button on this video and subscribe if you're new. It really helps the channel grow, and this is a high effort video, so would love to spread this to as many people as possible. Secondly, to offer some transparency, I actually raised $175,000 in this session, and 500 people have a vested interest in the success of this session. So without further ado, let's get into the very first deal of the stream and session. We pick up pocket kings. Well, hopefully a good sign to come here. I raise things up to $700 with the $100 and $200 blinds up. Nick to my left immediately 3-bets me to $2,000. This is definitely something I expect to see all night. Nick to fire out with aggression here when I enter the pot, and well, it's a good sign when I have pocket kings a real premium. Action folds to me, and I decide to 4-bet, as I'm not going to be backing down. I 4-bet to $8,000 to build a pot. And not surprised, Nick comes along quickly and makes the call as he's shown up to battle. We're going to a flop of 7, 6, 3, 2 diamonds. Definitely not the board that should hit me too often, but I have such a strong hand, so certainly going to start off with a bet, and I start off with a bet of $8,000. And here, Nick snap calls. Doesn't look like he has much of a decision to make here, and we're off to a turn which comes a bank king. Now sitting with top set. Pretty sick spot to be in, to be quite honest with you, and well, I'm trying to figure out how to get paid here. I'm incentivized to continue putting money in the middle, mainly because of how deep we are, and I'm just praying that Nick has a hand to call with, or maybe he can get out of line. I decided to fire out 22,000 with top set, the best hand possible here. Nick goes into the tank and thinks for a while, but he ends up making the fold, but he did say he wanted to raise and thought better of it, so at least Nick showed a little bit of discipline here, but not a bad start for me so far. The very next hand, a few minutes later, we get into a weird one as Bill raises things up under the gun to 600. I'm next to act in +1 with ace queen offsuit and certainly could 3-bet here, but decided against it since I'm up against an early position raise. Also, never really played with Bill before, so unsure how he plays, but I make the call, and this causes Charles to call. Then Mike on the button squeezes to 2,500. Bill quickly calls this $2,500 bet, and now I seem to have a pretty good spot to squeeze myself. I think sometimes I'd have strong hands like ace-king here, but I'm not sure if I'd ever have aces or kings. But regardless, we have good removal to those strong hands, and let's experiment in the waters here with a back raise. I put in a back raise 4-bet to $10,000, and I just might take down all the money pre-flop, which would be about a $5,000 win. Or we decide to play a big one, and well, my 10K bet gets called by Mike, and maybe he has a big hand, or maybe he's just willing to gamble. Everyone else ends up folding, and we're going heads up to a flop of ace 3 deuce 2 hearts. Always nice to start off with hitting top pair with $23,000 into the middle. So here we are. I start off with a bet of $6,000 out of position. I would definitely be doing this and betting this sizing with all the hands that I would show up here with, and well, Mike ends up making the call. All right, hoping to not see a heart on the turn. It's the king of hearts. Perfect. That's what I asked for. Anyways, I don't love this. I don't have a heart in my hand. I'm out of position, and I definitely want to control the size of the pot now, so I start with a check. And here, given the opportunity to bet, Mike fires out 22,000. A pretty damn big bet by Mike. And definitely not something that I love or feel super comfortable with, because I now lose to flushes, I lose to pocket kings, I lose to ace king. All of those hands beat me, but I definitely can't fold just yet. I'm here to make the call. Now, going to the river, it is the 8 of diamonds, and with $80,000 in the middle, I'm praying for Mike to check back and not shove all in. That would be very, very ideal here. Anyways, I start off with a check on this river card, and Mike checks. He takes his time and finds the check. Always nice to win this one as I show my top pair, and it's a great start to the session. I've won 2 hands in a row. I'm up a good amount of money so far. Let's keep this run going. Hey everyone, quick interruption in the video because I need your help. I was voted to be a finalist to win this year's Poker's Personality of the Year 2023, and it's up to fans voting. So it's determined by whoever gets the most amount of votes by the fan base. You guys, whoever it may be, and I'm up against Lech Feldhaus, Felipe, and Ryan DePaulo. If you want to support me, or if you think I'm the most deserving to win, I'd appreciate you guys click the link right in the description below to vote for whoever you think. Hopefully me. But we'd appreciate you doing that today, or actually right now, because voting closes at 11 p.m. Pacific time today. It's the last day of voting, so if you're watching this video on the day of upload, please just click that link right now, vote for whoever you think is most deserving. But if you want to vote for me, would appreciate it. It would be a trophy and celebration that we could all share together and something that we could all collectively earn. So it would mean a lot to me if you could do it now, because there's no other option besides actually today. So click that link. Appreciate you guys. Wish us luck. It would be something that we could bank all together. And yeah, it will be announced on March 3rd and the GPI Awards in Vegas. So they'll be live streaming it. We can all sweat out the results together. But if you could help contribute to that, would mean a lot. Let's get back to the video. With things going my way so far, this mind boggler comes up. There's a raise of $600, two people make the call, and I peel pocket jacks in the small blind. Definitely time to re-raise again and build a pot. So I size up here to 4,200, expecting some sort of action here. Anyways, Charles from early position makes the call. Bill makes the call as well. And well, once again, who's surprised? A bunch of money going in the middle pre-flop. Off to a flop of 9, 6, deuce, 2 spades. Perfect flop for me, but I'm out of position, and this is actually a board that I don't really hit much on. So because we're multi-way, I'm incentivized to check a lot sometimes. So I'm going to start with a check here, and on to Charles now, who shoves? 4x pot shoves of $60,000. Bill folds, and I'm easily going to snap call here with my overpair. Suddenly, in a blink of an eye, we have a $140,000 pot happening right before us. Charles wants to run it twice, and well, for how big this pot is, I'm always happy to reduce variance. So I show my overpair, and it's all fun and games trying to figure out what Charles may have. The first run out comes, and I win that one, and then shit. Charles spikes the river on the second run out. Ugh. That's painful here. He hits the gutter ball, a naked gutter ball, and I don't really make a whole lot of money. We just chop up this pot, and that's just how variance goes sometimes. I guess you could be a little bit upset that we ran it twice results-wise, but if you hit that 5 in the first run out and we only said to run it once, then I would also be hating life as well. So I was really, really close to winning piles here, but I guess I'll settle for a chop, sadly. Now, all of this action leads up to one of the most memorable hands of the night. Bill raises things up from early position to 1,400 with the $400 straddle on. I have king-queen suited, and it's definitely a good hand, right? So I'm going to make the call. Charles calls as well. You can see how wild he can get. And now JR on the button squeezes to $9,000. These pots are just going to get huge now with that straddle on, and when action folds to me, I'm definitely going to be battling and be in here for sure. I have a very playable hand, and we're going to see a flop as I make the call, and, well, Charles calls along too. So with almost $30,000 in the middle already, the flop comes 10-9-6 rainbow. Overall, brick city for me, and JR continues with a bet of $11,000. On the surface here, I don't think there's much I can do here besides just a call. But the more I thought about it, the more I find the check raising option very, very attractive here. As played, I feel like I can have all the sets, 2-pair combos, and even straights. And on top of that, my hand removes possibilities of overpairs. So with the gut shot straight draw myself and 2 overcards, I didn't come here and play in this game to play scared. Let's pull the trigger, and I check raise it up to $35,000. One of the largest bets I've ever put out in my life, and this time, of course, who's surprised, I have nothing. And this hand is only the beginning here as Charles folds, but JR comes along with a call, which I certainly don't love because it looks like he has something, but we're going to the turn, which is the 9 of hearts. It's certainly not the best card in the world. It's less likely I have sets or 2-pair combos now, but that's never stopped me from firing out before, right? I decided to size down to 33,000. Definitely something I would do with all of my full houses here. And here again, JR makes the call. Oh boy. We have $160,000 in the middle, and I really need some help. Jack one time, the river's a 6. Crap. Not the jack I wanted, and now the board is double paired, and now my brain feels a little stuck. On one hand, I should definitely be giving up, but on the other hand, I'm stubborn, and there's $160,000 in the pot there, and I'm not going to give this up without trying. I decided to count out a large size of a bet and throw $120,000 in the middle. It's a huge sweat, the biggest bet ever made in my life, and let's sweat out what JR does.
$120,000. This kid has all the heart. This run out did not favor him. I don't think JR is going to fold, but we've seen crazier things before. The chat, the State Kings holders, all rooting for Rampage. And he gets the fold. Rampage, you animal. And he shows the bluff.
And somehow, some way, he folds. I get the biggest bluff of my life through, and I'm really steamrolling through this session now, up about $160,000 at this point. Things are going super smooth right now, maybe a little too smooth. Got one big hand followed by another. This next one, Nick Airball, starts off with a raise under the gun, followed by 3 players who calls. And then I peel ace king in the $200 straddle, and well, this pot's gonna get big. I 3-bet this one to $4,000, and guess what? Of course, Nick quickly makes the call, and everyone else ends up folding. So we're going to battle against Nick here out of position, something that we're probably going to see a lot tonight. And we're going to a flop of King 5-6 Rainbow. Amazing, amazing flop here. Sitting with top pair, top kicker, I'm going to continue with the bet of $2,600. And oh my god, Nick is going crazy. Raises to $9,000. A really, really big raise here. And obviously with ace king, I'm not going to go anywhere. I am a little bit afraid of sets that he may have, but for the most part, doesn't seem like there's anything else that strong possible on this board. So I'm going to let him keep bluffing. I make the call, and we have a massive pot brewing. Turn is the 3 of clubs, and this board just got a lot more connected. I check it over to Nick, check in flow, and he fires out $25,000. Almost a pot-sized bet here, and I just don't love this situation. Of course, Nick, very, very capable of having garbage hands that now improve to 2-pair or even a straight. For one reason or another, my spidey senses were telling me that I hate this spot, but realistically, I don't think I can fold top pair, top kicker to just 1 bet. So I'm going to make the call and see what develops. The river is the queen of clubs. Not a great card for me to see at all. A very likely hand my opponent can have here could be king queen. Also, backdoor flush draws get there, and yeah, I'm going to check this one, and guess what? Nick isn't one to stop betting. He fires out $130,000, a massive bet. Jeez, not sure what to do here at all. And all I am for certainly sure is that I hate this situation, and this bet just makes me really want to puke and fold. I'm facing the biggest bet of my life so far, and Nick knows that by applying all this pressure. I don't have a club to block flushes that Nick can also have, and let's go into the table talk to decide my decision.
You want to pick a card?
You're gonna let me pick a card?
Well, maybe if you show me your hand, I'll let you pick a card. Otherwise, it might be too suicidal, you know? No, I mean, that's...
I'll take a card.
But you have to show me your hand so I know, like... Because, like, if you show me, like, king, and one of my cards, like, isn't a straight card or a flush card, then I can't show you a card, right? It's, like, not fair to me.
I think king would have been over by now.
I know, but I don't know you have. Like, I'm just trying to help. All right, never mind.
Okay.
I think that was, like, pretty generous. Is this the biggest bet you faced? No, right?
I'm not sure.
I guess like the EV and the poker.
I think you're talking me into a call, so I was already gonna fold.
Ooh. You can pick one.
Nick ends up talking a lot on this river bets, and I just felt like I don't really want to be involved in this. I just let my cards go, hope it's the right fold, and as you can see, luckily it is the right one. Somehow he found a way to drill the gutter on the turn and at least make $25,000 more off of me here. So that was a pretty big hand, and this one, we're going to move into the hand of the night, and one of the biggest pots I'll ever play in my lifetime, with the $800 straddle on. Ben in the hijack starts off the action with the raise to $1,800. Cutoff makes the call, and I peel pocket kings in the small blind versus two of the deepest stacks here in a massive straddle on. This is what dreams are made of, right? I 3-bet huge, $12,000 given the deep stacks. I'm also out of position, and when action folds over to Ben, he thinks for a while, and guess what? Ben 4-bets to $33.8 thousand. And holy crap, we've got a serious pot brewing. The other player folds, and now I have a decision. I'm definitely torn between raising again or just calling and trapping Ben. Calling here seems a good option because I'm out of position, kind of want to control the size of the pot with just one pair, and also I mainly know that Ben can get out of line sometimes raising pre-flop, so I decided to just make the call, and we're off to a flop of ace jack jack. Disastrous spot for me here. Me thinking mainly disaster because the ace is out there. Let's see how it goes. I start off with the action with a check, and Ben quickly checks this one back, which is a little confusing to me. Seems a little polarizing as I expect him to bet all the time in this 4-bet pot. But anyways, the turn is the 6 of spades. I check once again out of position. Don't want to fall for Ben's trap if he has a good hand, and I don't really see a point in betting, to be honest, with the ace out there. Now, after I check, Benz throws out $48,000. Really large bet. And I'm definitely hating this spot. And it would be much easier to call if there wasn't an ace out there. But once again, like I said, Ben is a crazy player and definitely capable of playing this way with so many bad hands and a whole lot of air. So he certainly earned his reputation for crazy bluffs. I am going to continue for one street at least. I call the $48,000. Now we're going to the river, which comes the 5 of diamonds, and the board doesn't change at all. I start with a check once again, just praying Ben somehow checks back. But of course, well, it's Ben, and he's definitely not going to check back and throws out $83,000 into the middle, about a half pot sized bet. To my eyes here, this bet looks very value-y, but I still can't wrap my head around the fact that he checked on this flop. It's just so confusing to me because I'd expect any ace or big hands easily bet here unless he somehow has aces or a random jack that wants to trap. It's super polarizing and I'm a little bit confused. But with his polarizing check on the flop, it just might cost me $130,000. So once again, Ben has a reputation for pulling big bluffs. And this time, I'm choosing to hero call and hope he's going crazy. I flick in a chip for a call of $83,000 and get shown instantly the bad news. Nice hand, Ben. GG's to him this one. And yeah, all of a sudden, the flick of a chip costed me the largest pot I've ever played in my life. Over $300,000 in the middle, getting shipped the wrong direction. One thing I'll never do after this is Google what kind of homes I can buy for $300 in the United States, because that's just too much pain for me to bear. So we're in a disaster situation now, because 2 big hands doesn't go my way, and we fast forward to the last hand of the night, where it's setting in that I'll most likely take a really big L on the session, unless some sort of miracle happens. So last deal of the night, this last hand starts with Charles raising from early position with the $400 straddle on. Small blind makes the call, and here I'm in that straddle, and I decide to be passive with making the call here with 9s. We're out of position. I'm buried. Let's just see a flop dealer. The flop is 6-6 deuce. All around safe flop for my overpair in my head, and action checks to Charles, who bets $1,300. Small blind folds, and now onto me with an overpair. Honestly, I'm kind of shook from the last bad few hands so far. I'm just going to be passive and try to survive till the end of the stream here. I'm out of position. Maybe Charles can just blast with a bunch of hands that he's been playing. I call. Turn comes another 6, and now with the full house, overpair full house, I expect to have the best hand a lot of the time here, and it would be a cooler if somehow Charles has a real hand like higher pocket pairs. Anyways, I check it over to him, and he splashes out $2,600. And of course, I'm calling. Who could blame me? I have an overpair with a full house on the board. Maybe I can let him bluff it all off on the river and hopefully end the session with the win. Obviously, you guys see the graphics on screen. It's not going to end that way. Anyways, I make the call, and the river is the 8 of diamonds. Another very safe card for me, and still with top full house. I think I have the best hand, right? You'd think so, but I check, and Charles bets $7,000. I don't think I can do anything besides just make the call. I think a raise is pretty bad, as I can't get worse to call, and I merely have a good bluff catcher. make the quick call, and you can see on screen this hand is a rough one. Somehow Charles has the 6. How does he have the 6? How does he have quads? How does he bink a naked gutter ball in a 140k pot? I don't know how he does it, man, but it's Charles. He runs good, and it's been a brutal end to the game. Clearly not my day, although we started off super hot, but things ended up crumbling at the very end. All right, and that's how the session went, unfortunately. Thank you for following along. Obviously, I know that this session did not go as expected or as planned or as how I hoped, we all hoped. Took a bigger shot of my life playing this really big game, and I was in the game for $400,000, out of the game for $292,400, which is an L of over 100K, and it feels bad. Feels bad somewhat monetarily. I mean, I did soften the blow technically by selling action, but it feels really, really bad in terms of letting everyone down who had faith in me. Of course, that's just how the cards go. Of course, that's just how variance works in poker. You're gonna lose sometimes. This was one of them. And if you want to hear my true, real thoughts, I made a whole long rant and video about how I felt after the game on my personal channel. So I won't hit all the bullet points here and talk forever, but I'm mainly disappointed to let people down. So if you bought action, I am truly, truly sorry for not performing, not providing the results that I wanted to. It does happen, unfortunately, but there will be next times. I will say I'm super grateful for the opportunity, and overall, it's such a crazy experience. And this was just one game in which I'll test myself in and try to broaden my horizons and push the boundaries of what could be possible, because obviously 3 years ago I was playing 1-3, and here buying in for $400,000, we've come a long way. So there's only up from here. Bigger and better things to come, and in the next video I'll be in the Bahamas playing some really high stakes tournaments, and it'll be a lot of fun, so hopefully you guys enjoy those videos. More cash game videos to come, but yeah, unfortunate here. Click the link down below if you want to check out my rant and thoughts on how this entire session and day went. Obviously disappointed to net a negative return, but there will be future opportunities. Thanks for sticking to the end. I'll see you guys next time. More videos to come. Big, big year for the channel. See you guys next time. Peace.